So, you know when you're staring at an exam paper and you're just thinking, what do they actually want from me? Well, today, that's exactly what we're going to figure out. We are going to crack the code on a real GCSE chemistry question, and I'm going to show you mark by mark how to get every single point.
Here's how we're going to do it. First, we'll decode the question itself, just to make sure we know what's being asked. Then, we'll scoop up all the marks from the facts and calculations. After that, we'll get into the real chemistry of it all, learn to think like an examiner. And finally, we'll wrap it all up into a neat little exam strategy toolkit you can take with you. Sound good? Let's go.
All right, here is our challenge for today, question 02. It's all about a product called methylated spirit, and it's worth a massive 11 marks. Our mission, should we choose to accept it, to bag every single one of them.
So right off the bat, the question gives us this table. This is our starting point. It lays out the 4 things that are mixed together to make methylated spirit: ethanol, methanol, pyridine, and methyl violet. And it tells us exactly how much of each is in there. This data is going to be key for the first few marks.
First things first, let's go after what I like to call the low-hanging fruit. These are the questions that test your definitions and your ability to work with numbers. You know, the kind of marks that are pretty straightforward to get as long as you've done your homework. And here we go, a classic 1 marker to start us off. It's asking for the specific scientific name for a useful mixture like this. The mark scheme is looking for one very precise word: formulation. This is one of those key terms from the syllabus, and just knowing it is how you bag that first easy point.
Okay, now for calculation. 2 marks up for grabs here. We need to find the percentage by mass of methanol. It's a really simple 2-step process. First, we've got to find the total mass of the whole mixture, so we add up all the numbers from the table. That gives us 293.3 grams. Then, for step 2, you just take the mass of the methanol, which is 23.3 grams, and divide it by that total.
You pop that into your calculator and boom, 7.9%. Getting that final number is what secures you those 2 marks. Simple as that. And this brings me to probably the most important exam tip you will ever get. Seriously, always, always, always show you're working. Let's say you mess up typing a number into your calculator. If your method is right there on the paper, the examiner can still give you a mark for it. It's your safety net. Use it.
Next up, an application question. The paper gives you some clues. Pyridine smells absolutely disgusting, and methyl violet turns the liquid purple. So why would you add them? Well, when you put those clues together, the answer's pretty clear. The mark scheme wants to see that you understand it's to stop people from drinking it.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting, because it shows you that examiners aren't always looking for just one specific word. For this question, they ask for one use. And look at all these possibilities. You could say fuel, solvent, antiseptic, all the way to cleaning products or even hand sanitizers. Any single one of these gets you the mark. It's a great reminder that there can be many ways to be right. Okay, we've handled the definitions and the data. Now we're moving into the real meat of the question, the core chemistry of ethanol itself. This is where you get to show off your understanding of how these chemicals are made and how they react. This one's a 3 marker, which means we need to provide 3 key pieces of information. Think of it like a recipe. How do you make ethanol from sugar? Point 1, the process is called fermentation. Point 2, you need to add yeast. And for point 3, you need the right conditions: anaerobic, which just means without oxygen, and warm. Get all 3 marks. All right, time for a little visual puzzle. The exam paper shows you this incomplete diagram for ethanol and asks you to finish it. This is a 1-mark question that's all about knowing the structure of an alcohol and how all the atoms fit together. And ta-da! Here's the finished article. You needed to add 2 more hydrogens to that second carbon, and most importantly, the OH group on the end. That OH is the functional group. It's the special part that literally makes it an alcohol. Getting all those bonds right gets you the mark. Here's another quick-fire 1-mark recall question for you. What gas do you get when you add sodium to ethanol? This is just one of those standard reactions you need to have in your memory bank. The answer is simply hydrogen. You can write the word or the formula H2, either works. And for our final chemistry mark, what kind of thing reacts with methanol to turn it into methanoric acid? Well, think about what's happening. You're going from an alcohol to an acid. You're basically adding oxygen. And the substance that does that job is called, you guessed it, an oxidizing agent.
So we've answered every part of the question. But to really guarantee those top grades, we need to get inside the examiner's head. Let's take a look behind the curtain and decode the secret language they use in their mark schemes.
Okay, when you see the word allow on a mark scheme, it's like a little bonus. It's great news. It means the examiner knows there's more than one correct way to say something. For example, they might be looking for the answer yellow, but they will allow orange yellow. It just gives you options. Now, the word ignore is a bit different. It basically means you've added some extra information that isn't wrong. It's just not relevant to the question they asked. For instance, if you mention distillation when asked how ethanol is produced, they'd ignore it. It doesn't lose you a mark, but it doesn't gain you one either.
Right, pay close attention to this one. Do not accept is a big red flag. It points out a common mistake that is definitely 100% wrong. So for the question about the uses of methylated spirit, the mark scheme specifically says, do not accept as an alcoholic drink. They're telling you exactly what not to write.
Whew. We have completely taken apart question 02. So to finish up, let's put all of that learning into a simple, powerful toolkit of strategies that you can apply to pretty much any exam question you come across. Here it is. Number 1, use the right scientific words like formulation. 2, always show you're working. It's your get out of jail free card. 3, hunt for the keywords in the question so you know exactly what they're asking for. 4, remember that there's often more than one right answer. And 5, know the common mistakes, those do not accept traps, so you can sidestep them completely. And there you have it. That's how you can systematically break down a question to get every possible mark. But now it's over to you. Looking at that toolkit, what's the number one strategy that you're going to make sure you use in your next exam?